So now we are here with our final series. It's the Emerging Skills and Careers in Finance with again Rajkumar Mritunjoy Gohain, and it has been wonderful speaking to him. So now we'll be delving into his other, professional side, which is working, as of right now also. So you have founded findInsight Consulting. So establishing a consulting firm, that is, you're basically an entrepreneur also, so that is also a badge you have added to your honor. So how did that happen, and how is that journey? Did you have a job before in finance and then you founded it, or?
Yes. So when I finished my master's in accounting, I started working in a very small accounting firm as a graduate accountant.
They're in Australia.
In Australia. So after I finished my master's, I got it's a very small accounting boutique accounting firm, and I got the role as a graduate accountant doing individual taxation or partnerships and company. It was an amazing experience. I had first-hand experience of working in an Australian context and environment. However, I had some challenges working in a small accounting firm, is because when you work in a very small accounting firm, you don't have the support system around you to train you well. But if you work in a large accounting firm, normally young graduates get a lot of support because they have got mentors and trainees, or they have got senior managers. In small accounting firms, you'll have the partner, which is from the CEO or the partner, we say, and there will be senior accountant. I'm a junior accountant. So I did not last long there. Probably I worked about a year and a half, but I had an amazing experience of learning how the taxation works, how a company or partnership is set up, how a trust is set up, and I think it went a long way of
ground knowledge
of setting up my consulting. However, the consulting just did not happen so it only happened a year and a half ago. So I only started my consulting year before last year. So it was just about, I think it's about only one year, half year old.
It's very new.
It's a very new venture. So again, see, all these things what I have done, all the stories I have shared with you, you can imagine that I'm always been a risk taker, and it's not about taking a risk, it's about being calculative, and it's actually about what you want to do and what makes you happy. Again, when after I finished my first job as a graduate accountant, I was playing sports, as you can imagine, and I found this person. He's from an Indian heritage, but he went to he went to Australia probably 30-40 years ago, and he saw me playing cricket one day, and he said, he asked me who I am, where I'm from, what I do, and I said I have finished my masters. I'm working there, but I'm looking for a new opportunity somewhere. Again, I use my sports.
In the field of finance.
In the field of finance, yes, absolutely. Then I finished my master's, so I wanted to do something in accounting or in finance. So he said, okay, I know a not-for-profit, and do you want to work in a not-for-profit? Honestly, at the time, I had no clue what not-for-profit was or is. So I was not sure what I'm getting into. I even asked him, does a not-for-profit make any money? Do they even pay you? The concept wasn't there, and he said, no, we will pay you. It's a funded organization. So about 90% of the funding comes from government. So they pay you quite well. We need a graduate accountant to help the finance team. So I said, okay, I will start. So I started there in 2011.
2011, okay.
And I worked there till 2021. So I worked there for 10 years.
10 years.
So it's an amazing journey from a graduate accountant. I became the finance and operations manager, kind of a COO.
That was also like a research you did to set up your own consultancy.
Correct. So that is the journey. I have the 10 years, what I have learned in the sector. That actually paved my way or set me up or gave me a very good base to start thinking about starting my own consulting or my own firm or business. So why not for profit? Is I told you before that I'm very passionate about people and human issues and issues around mental health and domestic violence, or you name it, or social issues around drug and alcohol. The more and more I work in human services, that resonated with what I am, what I do, what I love to do. And a lot of people do ask me, you have done your bachelor's in commerce, you have done your master's in accounting, you have completed your CPA, why are you working in a not-for-profit? You know, you can go and work in a bank or in a corporate or in a multinational. I said, that's subjective, what you want to do, how you want to do. I think this makes me happy and content, you know, working in the sector. And after working for 10, 11 years in the sector, I grew a passion about working in the sector and thinking about, I understand how the models work, the business model works in the sector. I know a lot of people. I have been actively engaged with the not-for-profit community in Australia or in Queensland, the state. So I think after about 10, 11 years, I told my CEO one day that I want to do something else. She was quite sad because the CEO, I worked very closely with the CEO, so you can imagine in 10 years from a graduate accountant to be a finance and budget officer, to become a finance manager, then to become a finance and operations manager, look after the entire department.
It gave you a lot.
It's a long journey, but again, staying in that human context, I have learned things like human-centric design issue problems. You know, the technology can't solve everything. In not-for-profits, we always talk about we're trying to solve a human problem. You know, let it be domestic violence, let it be drugs and alcohol, let it be disability. Technology cannot solve this. You know, these are human problems. So you have to have human connections. You have to have the community connections going. You have to have people around you to support. So I engaged myself. I immersed myself in those kind of pathways and see, okay, how can someone like me help not-for-profits, you know, going forward. If every young accountant, if every young professional want to work for a big multinational or big auditing firm or a big accounting firm, then how this sector gonna grow? So in Australia, there are 3 or 4 major sectors. One is your private sector, one is your public sector, which is your, you know, the government and your all your public offices. Then this is the sector we call the third sector. So it's a huge sector. In Australia, there is about 600,000 not-for-profits, and there are about it's a huge sector, and there are about 60,000 not-for-profits who are registered under ACNC. So I saw an opportunity there. So after 10 years of my working in MICA projects, so which is my wife is still working, so at MICA projects, so she is working, I think now she's about 12 years now working in the same, so it's like a family. So I worked, and then my CEO said, you know, you're married, what she was doing, I said she has done MBA from India, and I called her, bring her in, and then she came and she stayed there, she's still working now. So I moved on and I told my CEO that I really want to do something. Then for a very short, brief period, I went to work in an indigenous school. Indigenous school is a school of people of the indigenous originals Australians. So it's called Himba Yamba. So it's an amazing experience to work in a...
What was your role there?
I was a finance and operations manager too. And I set up the school foundation there. Another story I'm going to tell you. So once we set up the school foundation for Himba Yamba, I met with Ash Barty. Ash Barty was the #1 tennis player in the world. So Ash Barty gave us a huge donation, and I had the opportunity to meet Ash Barty for the first time, and she was #1 at that time in the world in women's tennis. So I worked in a First Nation School of Excellence. So First Nation schools are the indigenous people who are the first people of Australia, they say. Very culturally connected, you know, you have got so much to learn from them. These are the people of, the original people of Australia. So I worked there for 1 year as a finance and operations manager and setting up the school foundation. I learned a lot in working there. Then came COVID.
Okay.
And COVID basically stopped everything. And at that around that time I was thinking like, what should I do? How should I move forward? And that's when findInsight came into my mind.
Yeah.
And I set up my consulting. So my consulting only focuses on not-for-profits. They are my clients. What I felt is, if you work in an organization, I can only offering my support and help or my knowledge to one organization. Through my consulting, I want to support other not-for-profits, because there are some micro projects is quite large. So we are an organization about 300 staff or about 350 staff, about say $40 million in revenue. But what I thought is there are so many other small not-for-profits I can support.
Okay.
So that's when I started findInsight, and I'm supporting number of not-for-profits
How
now.
big the team is?
Just
behind
me,
findInsight?
and there are a few other people helping me.
It's
So
still in the growing
it's
stage.
still in the
yeah.
growing stage, just me. So I am the lead. I look after the strategic management accounting. I look after the risk and compliance thing, but then I have got some digital architects. So I also do a lot of solutions. I will come up. So I do a lot of Microsoft solutions. I build automations. And so my story keeps changing.
Yeah.
So from sports
so technology
to then
has a major
absolutely
role,
see.
right? Yeah.
You always have to keep moving.
Yeah,
You always have to
absolutely.
look forward.
Yeah.
You always have to keep moving with the trends happening. What are the changes coming? You know, finance is complete. The finance and accounting landscape is changing significantly. So you have to be adaptable. And I saw an opportunity there that there is a need or a demand for automation.
Technological intervention, yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and automation. And how can we leverage some of the technologies or the new technologies which are emerging? How can we implement them in some of the smaller not-for-profits so that they can automate some of their tasks? That will free up some of their time for their main work, which is human services. So some of the back offices work we can tackle through automation, and so that people are free to do more service delivery.
Okay, wonderful. Disciplined way of doing things, I would say. Right?
Yes.
Looking after that prospects where humans have lesser to do. Their
Correct.
technology comes in.
Because see, our not-for-profit is usually set up to provide services to someone who is less fortunate, less privileged, or less fortunate. Okay, so but if your administrative task becomes too hard, or you have to spend a lot of time in doing your bookkeeping or entries or setting up a CRM or your finance solutions. So I said, okay, how can I improve some of the systems so that they can talk easier with other systems or third-party systems, and so that they don't have to spend a lot of time in doing admin work, rather than they can go and focus on their people or their clients.
Okay, so I think that is a very new approach that you have taken up for your work, and not many have done it yet. And also the scenario here, if we say the context of Northeast, non-for-profits is completely different.
Yes.
Then what you have said in Australia, like there are things which we do not really hear. Non-for-profit thing is a completely different way we see. That you do not have money there, you cannot work, it's like charity. So that, I think so many things to take in from outside and inculcate here, because we have the resources and everything, right? We have the talent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. See, the not-for-profit landscape is changing. I always say, I go and present talks. So I'm also the deputy chair of the CPA Not-for-Profit Committee of Queensland. So I sit there in the committee, and I go and talk to a number of not-for-profits that the landscape is changing. The business model is changing. Not-for-profit not used to be what it used to be 10 years ago. So there are so many new models are coming in, how to increase revenue or how to increase services. So people have to be aware of, and how can we use technology to leverage some of those things. So we will come and I think we will come and talk about different business models which is affecting, and how accountants of the future or the finance students of the future can actually use their skills in the sector or to improve the sector. The sector is growing exceptionally. So there has been an exceptional shift in people's thinking about not-for-profit, as you have just now said. However, there is an exponential growth happening in the sector too. So it is not just, it's just not just charity depends on donations or government funding. No, people are generating revenue now through different business models. But the revenue they generate is not for the shareholder something, but the revenue what they generate or for the stakeholders or for the services they provide. So it doesn't go out as dividend or profit or something. It stays within the business to provide more and better services.
Keep using it,
correct.
Yeah, it's like
absolutely.
A cycle. Okay. Wonderful. So also the students can take up certification courses, right?
Absolutely.
The things you have mentioned.
Absolutely.
I don't think only conventional, academics can give you that. There are so many other.
There are so many things.
Yeah. Even the CPA program that you did, that is also available, right? Yeah, certification. If you can.
So CPA is one of the largest accounting body in Australia and in the globe, in the world. So every accountant in Australia who have done their bachelor's or master's has to be certified by CPA as an accreditation, saying that you have done the core subjects to be an accountant in Australia. So after I finished my master's, I was thinking like, what should I do next? I'm always someone who kept learning as one very important one. I never stopped learning, and even today I always in the morning either I will watch YouTube to learn something new skills, or I will just read what's new coming up in Microsoft, what are new technologies coming. So that's me. That's something which I can learn from everywhere. I learn from I learn school, I can learn from a class-based, or I can learn from a online portal, I can learn by talking to people. So I was thinking, what should I do next? Then came CPA. So Certified Practicing Accountant is a 3-year course I did after it's like a chartered accounting in India, but CPA being a very globally recognized degree. So being a CPA
it's
also
a full-fledged degree.
Absolutely. So CPA offers you a lot of opportunity across globally to work in different parts. So CPA is recognized in US, in Canada, in UK, in Hong Kong, in Singapore. So CPA has opened a lot of doors for me, and it has given the value behind my name to use the CPA designation after my name, and that adds the value that finance, young finance, people are becoming entrepreneurs. That CPA is giving you the opportunity and the network of people around you whom you can reach out to think differently.
Okay.
So thinking differently, doing things different, doing things out of the box is so important, and that's where you need that support or network of people around you, how they have done, what they have done, what learnings they have done, learn from their mistakes or their challenges. So CPA has again given me some additional support mechanism to start my business.
Start your business, right. So also that takes us to all the new age skills that we require.
Absolutely.
To have this kind of qualities, to have this badges to your honor like CPA or everything that you said about your business models, also to even implement those strategies. So that if we take into account those skills, what have you experienced working in this sector for so many years now? In terms of technology, you have already mentioned that it's it's evolving. In terms of sustainability and ethical finance, what would you like to say?
Absolutely. So this is a very important topic you have touched about environmental footprints across the globe, and people are talking about global warming. People are talking about what as our corporate citizens, what we are doing to reduce our footprints. So these are real messy issues around the world that the world is facing right now. As an accountant, we are in a very specialized position that we see numbers and we go and talk to the stakeholders. How can even recycling become a very there are in Australia we have they have started a thing called container for change. So what happens is every little plastic bottle you get, You give it to a container suite, they will give you 10 cents. So the young kids are just running around picking up containers because that's a pocket money. So these are social changes they want to bring in the economy. So basically, environmental friendly. Australia is hugely working towards the environment friendly and the corporate responsibility. Big companies are putting a lot of money. So we as an accountant are in a state where we can work with not just the business but other third party organization or environmental friendly organization to see how can we leverage some of the new systems and technologies we are using to improve our life, not just in Australia and globally. Globally technology is changing. See, I have, the business model, as I've said, there are business models are changing in not-for-profit. People are talking about impact investing, people are talking about social enterprises. So people are talking about social benefit bonds coming. People are talking about crowdfunding, crowdsourcing. People are talking about opening up the space for somebody else to use. People are talking about you have a product. You have built a product. How can that product can be shared by other not-for-profits? So for example, you are you're an organization, you have got resources, so you build a system or a solution, but there might be a not-for-profit across the road who don't have the resources or the skills like what you have. How can they use that kind of thing for the betterment of human life? This type of models are happening quite. There are a lot of things happening. Again, systems are changing. CRMs, the customer journeys are changing rapidly. People used to talk about a client management solution, like how a client comes to a not-for-profit on day 1, what happens in the day 20, or what will happen in the next time they come. So the interface. So this kind of technologies are, I build some of these type of solutions too. So some of the predictive modelings are coming now. What are the the AI, the algorithms are changing. So it's like
research.
It's an evolving space. It's a limitless opportunity what you can do, and we want young students and entrepreneurs to come up with different solution. It is very easy for somebody to say there is a problem or there is a challenge, but it's important to know what a challenge is, what a problem is, but it is also important to come up with some solutions.
So what according to you is the importance of networking and continuous learning, not only in the field of finance but in general?
Well, as I have told you a number of times, the world is changing rapidly, and staying up to date, keeping your skills updated is becoming so important, and learning and understanding or predicting what the emerging technologies are. So see how I have changed my career from being a accountant to do my strategic financing work, or becoming a CPA, or working into risk and compliance, and now I'm moving into IT world. Why I'm moving is because I can see there is a transition happening. There is a change coming. If I am just being an accountant, that's not gonna be viable maybe in the next 5 years. So how can you keep improving your skills or adjusting your skills with the demand or changes coming in the future? So now I have told you, in my consulting, I look after not-for-profits in improving their solution side, the data side, the data security side. I'm talking about improving automation. So these are IT, and a lot of people ask me, you are a co-accountant, you are a CPA, you are a chartered accountant. How did you move into the world of IT? I said, I am still focusing on, but I see this as an accountant, you sit in the middle of the CEOs and the senior managers, and this is the next stage to talk about. So how can we keep data secured and safe and within the boundaries of Australia? So I saw that opportunity and I grabbed it, and I said, okay, being a not-for-profit, being in the sector for such a long time, understanding the sector, what the sector needs and what the sector requires, I mold myself and change myself, and I said, okay, I'm going to find a different pathway of providing my services.
That is continuous learning.
That's continuous learning. This is about, I told you before, we have to be like water. We have to have different form. We need to keep ourselves updated. Change is something which is constant now. ChatGPT. or AI or blockchain or cryptocurrencies. Fintech is changing. The way we used to pay things. From cash to GPay to Apple Pay. These are constantly evolving. How can we keep updated? There will be things tomorrow that will come for young accountants about auditing artificial intelligence. People are, fintech companies are you're pushing money through GPay. How can somebody will audit that kind of thing?
Okay.
There is no transactional things happening. How can you do a check and balances of blockchain ledgers? So these type of the future.
Finding the gaps, right?
So finding the gaps. So these are things. These young accountants or young students needs to think about that niche market. Where is the niche? What are the things that is coming in the next 5, 10, 15 years? And you know how? You can only know this by keeping yourself updated with the new trends coming. For that, you need a network of people. Being a CPA, that has given me the opportunity to connect with a network of 170,000 members across the globe. So I can reach out to someone sitting in Singapore, or someone sitting in Hong Kong, or someone sitting in Canada, and reach out with a business problem or issue I'm facing. So it is so important for young kids to jump on social media, to use and know how to best use social media. Social media is not just Facebook or Instagram or chat or WhatsApp. So social media is also LinkedIn. LinkedIn is pushing out a lot of content. I don't know if you even know, there are things now called micro-credentials. Micro-credentials are short courses. So you don't have to do a full-fledged course. You can do a course from Google. You can do a course from Ernst & Young. You can do a course from Microsoft. You can do a course from Deloitte, and you can earn a micro-credential. And you can then advertise your micro-credential in your LinkedIn, in your account. So that's also you can do. There are so much. You do not have to do the entire course. You can say, I have done 20 hours learning of compliance and risk in not-for-profit, and that will give you a micro-credential, and then you can advertise that micro-credential in your LinkedIn. Use LinkedIn. Connect with people whom you know and whom you're outside of your network. Reach out. Connect with me.
Build networks,
Connect with me. Build your network. Talk to them. Learn from them. Learn from their successes and mistakes. But what you need to do is, you have to keep learning and adapting and changing and improving and upskilling. I think this is very important for the next generation.
Exactly. Talking of upskilling, then for the upcoming accountants, what do you think are the new age skills that are coming up, and what do they need to?
Digital literacy.
Okay.
Digital literacy is the new fuel for the next generation. You have to be digital literate. You have to understand coding. You have to know how to query from big data. You need to understand AI. You need to understand machine learning. Like, I am doing data analytics now. I know how to create. I don't know if you know, there are so many amazing business intelligence tools you can use, like Power BI or Tableau. You need to understand, it's not now good enough to present a financial statement. It is about creating a nice dashboard. It is important to do a storytelling of your data. I always tell young kids, if you tell me how much money you have in your bank account, it doesn't make any sense to me. You might say, Dada, I have got 5 lakhs rupees. What is 5 lakhs? 5 lakhs could be a lot for you. 5 lakhs could be very less for me.
For you,
It is the context you have to give. So I had 5 lakhs, today I have got 10 lakhs. So there is a story how you have gone from 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs. That is the story I want to hear. It is not. So if you say, Dada, I have got 5 lakhs and yesterday you had got 10 lakhs, then it's you have lost 5 lakhs. So it is the context important. So your financial statement or your balance sheet or a cash flow, what is this? It is a story of your business. You need to understand how to tell the story to a person who is not finance literate. You have to reduce those jargons. So you have to know how to communicate well. You have to understand the behavioral finance happening. What is shifting in people's mind that people want to invest there? These are the new trends. Data literacy, globalization, fintech is changing. So as an accountant, you need to understand some of the programming languages, system implementations. Before we used to have accounting solution, there are so many CRMs or so many ERPs coming. Accountants are involving in implementing ERP systems. So I immerse myself in learning in new technology when I talk about, and you can probably, from my voice, you can hear how passionate I am about data and technology, because that's the next big
Very
thing.
fascinating, yeah.
Because you have to talk about ERP solution, you're talking about CRMs, how to integrate CRM into accounting solution, how you going to do, ChatGPT is not going anywhere. It is going to stay. How can you leverage ChatGPT in improving your next work? So I think this is important for every young people or every young accountant to understand the needs of technology and leveraging systems.
So whatever your career option might be, you might be an accountant, you might be a financial
Doesn't matter.
consultant.
Doesn't matter.
You can always hone those skills and use them.
Absolutely.
Right.
Data is gold now. So data is everywhere. People know predictive modelings are happening. People know what kind of things you are buying. The moment you look for one thing in Google, you will see that in your ad, in your feed next time.
Exactly.
What is this?
It can tap your mind.
Absolutely.
So
Google knows everything.
weird, yeah.
So if you search a TV in Amazon, next time all the TV ads will come. This is called AI modeling.
AI models. Predictive
modeling. So these are the next generation tools. Get into it, jump on the bandwagon now. It is important that people should know, understand, and don't wait. Don't wait for somebody to come and tell you, please go and learn. Do it now.
Do it now. Right. So you could be like everything. You could inculcate those skills. You could go for IT. You could be a accountant. You could also play cricket then.
Absolutely.
So everything is possible, right?
Absolutely.
You just need to know where and how to tap on those potentials.
Absolutely.
And move ahead. So it was wonderful talking to you.
Thank you.
Any message? I know you have already spoken a lot to our audience, but then any last message or final words you want to say?
Probably the message I'm going to say is don't let people judge you, or don't think that there are people, if you say something wrong, it is okay to fail. Sometimes it is okay to fail because you learn from those failures and mistakes. And I always say to people do ask me all the time that, Dada, do you consider yourself successful? That's a very subjective word, success is, because success is not about going from point A to point B and say, oh, I have become a CPA or I have become a CEO of an organization. Success is how happy you are or what makes you content. I think that is more, for me, I think that is what a success means, and that is the story and the methodology I follow, the steps I have taken to go from point A to point B rather than jumping from point one to point B.
To reach point B.
And always use your USP, always find that one thing you are good at and try and see how can you market well.
And how to be a better person, obviously.
Absolutely.
Like you said.
Absolutely.
So wonderful. Thank you again, sir. It was great having you here.
Thank you very much.
And our episodes will be coming out in 3 series, and I'm sure that you will learn a lot. This will be very beneficial to you, and any queries you have, you can just comment us, connect with us, and we'll connect you with our mentor here also. And keep connecting. Thank you. So hoping for more collaborations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.